Miller Moss throws the fade. Oh, another one. Moss finds Jacoby Lane.
This is just the mismatch throw. Jacoby Lane is 6'4", 180 pounds, but watch how good he is as he creates separation and then goes up and high points that football.
Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Really quickly, I just want to shout out a couple of Trojan accounts here. USC Poppy has a really good USC chat that we just started up. Just a place where we can, talk, support each other, vent, all those things like that. And it was actually happened really quickly this weekend, and I thought the content in there is really good. A lot of really good people in there, so you definitely want to check that out. I want to shout out to USCJ and Fight on Rusty for keeping everybody sane in these almost troubled times, I guess, as far as the recruiting world goes, with USC. And then Trojan Blade, he really had a good little expose, whatever you want to call it, from the information that he's gotten from recruiting as well too. So some insight there. So after you check this out, definitely go to Trojan Blade's site to check out what he had to say on his last episode of USC recruiting. So the recruiting is the biggest thing that we're talking about today. And I know it's hard. I mean, it's hard to sit there and just kind of see player after player after player go to Oregon or go to Ohio State. Riley Pettijohn has moved on and from USC as far as consideration and is all lined up to go to Ohio State. So we know about that part of it. I think in this era, in this time frame right now. Another quick note: Riley Pettijohn's mom, I believe, said it wasn't NIL. So they have so that's for whatever that is worth. It wasn't NIL. The reason why he didn't choose USC. I think the Coach B approach to it has been, we talked about it. We talked about with Coach B. They just have to have a really good season. They have to win games. And that's going to be, they're not, it's weird because some of these recruits are not holding their other programs to that standard where they have to win, because Miami hasn't won in forever. Texas A&M hasn't won in forever, but people are still signing. We don't know what these deals are as far as the money goes. And when you have a prize, a prize prospect like Pettijohn, say his and that could be just doing USC a solid or whatever, who knows. When they say, hey, it wasn't NIL, it wasn't NIL, they made that choice to Ohio State for other reasons, then you got to take people by their word when they say those things as far as that goes. But to lose out continuously, it just, now the finger is kind of pointing in the direction. And the target for USC fans is Dave Emmerich. So Dave Emmerich is the GM. It's weird to even say the word GM, general manager, with college football, but that's where we are now. And that's where everybody's saying that the deals are falling apart. And, there is we've all had jobs in sales, right? At some point, and you're either closing or you're not closing. And if you can't close, then that's it, right? You can't get your numbers. You won't get those commissions. You won't get those. You won't get any of those bonuses that they promise as well. If you can't, whether it's selling cars, whether it's selling phones, whether it's no matter what it's selling, and if he can't close a deal to what USC is selling, then it's going to be time for a change. So. And I get hey, I'm not even sure. I didn't even backtrack to see if he was there with USC, or was he hired by USC after Riley got there? But it's whatever it is. It's not, people aren't feeling comfortable with the closing of these deals. So that information is going to be leaked out, because you have people who, I don't have access media wise. Trojan Blade doesn't, USCJ doesn't. Like, they're going to get the information from people who are disgruntled. So that's kind of the advantage of that situation. I've gotten a couple of DMs and text messages, and I'm trying to verify who this is, who these people are, before I present anything to you guys about anything, because I don't want to be out here and just talking out of turn about anything that goes on with the program out there in Los Angeles. But like, let's just let's say it is, like, I mean, if that's the deal, then whatever his situation is, I mean, if he has to go, then he has to go. But right now, whatever that time frame looks like, we'll have to see what USC is going to do. Other talk I've heard from fans is about Jen Cohen and her situation. I like Jen Cohen. I think this is her dream job. She's from Southern California. I believe she grew up in San Diego, and I think that this is her dream job in a lot of ways. And I think she's not going to do anything to screw that up. I know people are, I got to see from her. It's only year one, so you're not going to get her unless there is a situation where she is, where she has a off the field, office stuff. I mean, same thing as Mike Bone. There's no way she's going to go anywhere. You got to give her time to get things going. I do think, I mean, obviously the position is 100% a position where you have to be ready to fundraise and get funds into the program, and that's what her job is. I mean, and we'll have to see. And I haven't heard any inkling from anybody that she is an issue. I've heard Dave Emmerich's name, and that's going to be a constant theme that we're going to hear over and over and over again with the Trojans, until they start signing people, until they start getting things done as far as that goes. Also, the little tidbits about the coaching staff. When you look at what the coaching staff they brought in a bunch of guys who are, I think that there are guys who they brought in who want to be head coaches in National Football League or head coaches in college football. Matt Entz said he went to every interview, and they said, that what you did at North Dakota State was fine, but we need you to coach at a higher level. He humbled himself and is coaching at a higher level. Coach Henderson humbled himself, came to college. I mean, for him, he's been in Los Angeles for a while now, so maybe he just wanted to stay in Los Angeles and just have that challenge of coaching college football. Who knows? As far as money goes, I'm sure USC was very competitive as far as the whatever he was getting paid with the Rams, right? Doug Belk and Dan Lynn as well. Like, I can't wait to see what these guys do on Saturdays, because it's going to be fun to see what they do with all these different weapons that USC has on their team. But like, I don't see like this exodus or like this issue, like if they go from where they were defensively to number one in top 10 college football defense, then Danton Lynn might not be here. Might not be here. Somebody's gonna throw him a bag and want him to be a head coach. So that's where I am with that part of it. I think they came here to do a job, and I don't think they came here thinking that job was going to be easy. It wasn't going to be like, okay, we're going to flex, we're going to just show up in our USC sweats, and then next thing you know, the recruits are going to be coming in. Some of these coaches have been in the game for a long. College coaches have been in the game for a long time, and they have relationships that go all the way back to when these kids were in 7th grade. So that's something that, like, we gotta take into account as well. But they still have a job to get done. They're still getting the exposure that need with these kids. And I think the one thing that they have to kind of make the decision on is is this a situation where USC is just being, hey, they're just being pawns in this game, where we're sitting here saying to ourselves, hey, guess what? You're back in their recruits' mind. It doesn't matter. They're not going to USC at any point, but they are going to just use them, as far as a bargaining chip. That's something that you'll never know. You'll never know. Kids keep that quiet as kept. Parents keep that quiet as kept. All those things like that are going to be something that you're not that we're not worried about as well. So that you can't worry about as well. So to me, those things really kind of got on my radar. I think one more thing that I kind of did want to see too as well too is I know that people are, it's going to be Juju watch until it's done. I really don't know necessarily. I'm going to check out his Instagram for 1 second because I did not do this, and you at USC Poppy told me I should check out his Instagram real quick to see to see what he had going on over there. But you're talking about huge commitments, huge decisions being made by a bunch of kids who are 17, 18 years old. And that frontal lobe, that decision-making process does not, really kind of kick in until 25. So, who knows what decisions they're going to make. If I'm going to just, I think you just chill out and just, to me, it's not a really big deal as far as, about Julian. Cause I mean, he obviously is one of the keys to the class, but if he would rather play at Auburn, or I would rather play at Colorado, then he was never going to come to. He never had Trojans on his mind truly. Anyway, the one thing I'll say is that until I see a quarterback who he targets, he being Lincoln Riley targets, walk away from him and walk away from the opportunity to play with him. I don't see how that's going to take place. But I get it. People want to hear him say he's going to shut everything down. People want to hear him say he's going to do this, he's going to do that. I am personally just going to I ignore anything that says, I'm almost to the point where I want to mute everything Julian Lewis on Twitter, because it's just so much talk, and maybe he just loves that talk so much. You only go through this situation once, and he's already taken every visit possible. And maybe he's just trying to eke out a little bit more money from USC to kind of bleed him out a little bit more. That is what it is. But I'm not the person who's like, oh my God, Julian, like, Juju every 5 seconds. I mean, I think Juju is a very talented player. I think, I know some people say, he's not going to play as a true freshman. I think he has extraordinary ability where that might take place. But Jaden Mayava is there to kind of lead the way, or kind of like be that bridge in between. And JK, and if you saw the video I did on Gavin Myers, the commit from Wyoming, like, it was against UNLV, and he does have a lot of ability. So another year in the system, all those things like that. So we'll see. I'm not as concerned with that recruitment as everybody else is. Right. I did find I don't follow Juju Lewis. I don't follow Julian Lewis on Instagram. I don't follow very many athletes on Instagram, but I did. I'll let you see for yourself on the screen right here to see if it's it's not enough USC stuff on here for somebody who committed to USC. It is what it is. I mean, he got Indiana on here. He has Colorado on here. Then he has Auburn. Then he has then he has USC. So you could probably go back and track the dates if you want to. It's Julian Lewis 10 on Instagram, so you can check it out there. But there's plenty of USC stuff on here for me. But we'll see. I'm not like I said, I'm not totally gonna go crazy over this, this whole thing with him and his back and forth. I mean, you only get a chance to do this once. He's a young dude. Let him do his thing. I'm not gonna go crazy and keep going back and forth with this whole thing. I don't feel like bad or with any ill intent or gotten tired of it. We'll see about it. You're gonna have the 24/7s, you're going to have the on threes, you're going to have Paul Feinbaum say all the things and why isn't he shut it down yet? And when I'm seeing a bunch of kids transferring left and right, don't see anybody writing anything about it because it's USC. It's USC. And I think that's probably the biggest the issue that is going to be there as far as that goes. It's USC, so it's going to be, and people are going to report on that a little bit differently than they do other things. So let's just talk about one guy on offense, one guy on defense real quick. And I think one guy on offense is Woody Marks. So Woody Marks, a running back, he's a transfer from Mississippi State, from SEC country, and had some really good games against LSU. So that should be interesting to see what he does against LSU as well. So coming up here, but I think he is going to be, and I'm telling you that a lot of NFL scouts like him a lot, especially his ability. He's 100% part of the new age running back where he can give it to him, he can tote the rock, and he can also give you some of that pass blocking you need. And then also the catching out of the backfield, you can isolate him against linebackers. If you don't have linebackers and you don't have, people who can cover out of the backfield, then you're gonna have a problem with Woody Marks. So I do think Woody Marks is gonna be that number one back and that guy who's really going to can do some special things for SC offensively. So that should be fun to see what happens as far as that goes. I think a forgotten guy in this whole this whole thing here is defensive tackle Nate Clifton, another transfer. I thought it was Purdue, but he came from Vanderbilt. Another guy who I think can really help the team as well. They need all the help they can get in the middle. I think he along with Gavin Myers can do some things there as well. And I think they have to show they can just hold up in the run game. The first thing that these SEC teams are going to do is these Big Ten teams are going to do is going to put the ball in the belly of the running back and say, USC, stop me on first down. And if USC can stop them on first down, then you start getting into the strength of USC's defense. You start getting into the linebackers. You start getting into the secondary where it's third and long, where these quarterbacks have to throw the ball in tight windows to a Dayton defense that's just waiting, a Doug Belk secondary that's waiting to pick the ball off. They have a lot of really talented players who have NFL ability in this secondary, and I'm really excited to see what they have. And they have just a variety of different kind of guys. I mean, DeCarlos Nichols is really long and tall. He can make plays on the ball as well. You got Kamari Ramsey back there. You got so many really good players who they know what it's like to be in the right position and make their plays. And I think that's something that, they're not going to be sitting there drifting backwards, trying to point to left and right to find out where to be. Kind of like the times where we had to deal with the other defensive coordinator that I don't want to keep saying his names. I do think Jalen Smith is hurt. We'll see how long he'll be out. I think that's the reason why Greedy Vance transferred. But Greedy Vance can play that slot, so he can play that slot and do his thing there too. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. So Student Body Right USC podcast, we're gonna do some really cool things coming up this week. I know Friday we have Fight on Fridays. Fight on Fridays is going to be with myself. They're going to be with Coach B. So definitely check that out as well. And we're going to be doing some live shows as well. I'm going to do some behind the scenes stuff to get the live shows ready for you guys. But live shows are going to be coming up, so you guys can we can interact with the show, talk, ask some questions, and share our opinions here as the 2024 season for the USC Trojans it's coming fast and furious right now. We're in July, and next thing you know, it'll be September 1st, and it'd be Go Tigers versus the USC Trojans. So should be fun times here coming up. Don't get all people. I know people trying to get back. People might get bad shape about recruiting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens if they add anybody else to the 25 class. Coming up during this last month, but let's just see. I'm my whole vision is forward to the season, and I think the season, if they have that season that I think they're capable of having, they have an opportunity to really take their team to the next level and take this program to the next level. And remember, like, until these guys sign on signing day, they can commit left and right. Until they sign, they're not there yet. So, all right, Trojans, take care. Fight on.